Hi everyone, I've gotten a few requests to do a mask tutorial, so here it is. First, you're going to need your fabric. You are then going to cut it into two 7x7 squares, or what I do is I fold it so it's one big rectangle. So it's 7 inches by 14 inches, and then I have one less seam that I need to sew. All right, and next you're also going to need some form of elastic for the ear straps. So I use this 1/4 inch elastic and I cut it to be 7 inches long. Or you can take these thin headbands, cut the metal piece off, and just cut them in half. And then they're about 7 inches long and they fit comfortably behind the ears. Okay, so for the mask I'm making, I have my 14x7 piece of fabric. I have my 2 elastic pieces for the ear straps. And then I have a pipe cleaner for later that will become the nose bridge to help seal it around the worker's nose. So with your fabric right side up, you're going to take your elastic and put it along the center. So essentially it's going to go like that. We're going to fold it in half and stitch across. Okay, so I have my fabric right sides together, and right at the top here I put my piece of elastic. And so you put it in your machine, and then we're going to stitch through it and back stitch just to secure it. So as soon as you come to your corner right before, you're going to reach in, grab that same piece of elastic you have, and put it under the presser foot. And so I'll adjust this, but basically we're going to sew over that back and forth to secure it in. So now that the elastic is secure, I put my needle in the down position, lift up my presser foot, and I just turn the fabric. Then we're going to sew straight down this seam. And once we get to the corner, right before, we're going to stop and place the other piece of elastic. Okay, so I sewed up to that corner, and I just took the second piece of elastic and put it in between my 2 right sides of fabric. And then just like the other corners, we're going to stitch over it and back stitch. And then I will drop my needle and turn the corner. So on the last side, while we sew up these seams, we're going to sew, back stitch. Then we're going to lift up the presser foot and slide our fabric forward so we have a little opening that we can turn the mask right side out. Now that we have that gap there, we can keep sewing. And back stitch to ensure the elastic is in place. And we'll finish. Okay, so we started here. This is the folded side, or if you're using 2 squares, you'll just sew all the way around, leaving a little gap. So we put our elastic here, and the same piece we brought over here, stitched in place. We turned, stitched to seam, placed our second elastic, then we turned, we sewed, we stopped. We took a break, and then we sewed the rest, and we took that same piece of elastic over here, and we back stitched to make sure the elastic's secure. So now I'm just going to use this little hole to flip the mask inside out. So now I come back to my cutting station, and I take my pipe cleaner, and I want the pipe cleaner to be just a little bit longer than the width of the fabric. And on the ends, I take and I turn them in, so that the worker doesn't get poked in the face by the metal end. Once the ends are turned in, we're going to use that same little hole to put the pipe cleaner up at the top of the mask. Okay, it's hard to tell, but my pipe cleaner is now at the top of my mask, and this will become the bridge piece for the nose. So we're going to go ahead and sew a seam close to this pipe cleaner to ensure that it's secure. Once that seam is sewn, we'll come back and press our mask. Okay, so I sewed that pipe cleaner piece in, and I'll just show you. It holds its shape so it can secure the mask around the healthcare worker's nose. So now we're going to make... Okay, so we did our first pleat, and now we're going to move down to our second. So I just pinch the fabric, and I put it down. And I just hold it, and I place my iron over it, and then that just sets the fabric in place. And I do this because I don't like using pins. And so then we'll start up here, sew down this side, we'll drop our needle, sew down this side, drop our needle and turn, and sew down this side, and then we'll be done. Okay, so this is our nose piece, and I'm just starting in the top right corner, and we're going to sew down. And just be careful going over the pleats. It depends on your machine, but sometimes the fabric tends to shift. Okay, so now that we're at the end, I drop my needle down, lift my presser foot, and then I just turn my fabric. And I sew all the way down, and we'll do the same. Drop the needle, lift the presser foot, and turn. And this time we're gonna make sure that that bottom of that pleat gets under our presser foot. Once again, when we sew over the pleats, when going under the presser foot, they might try to pick themselves back up. So just make sure you're watching for that and pushing them under. Okay, we come to the end. We back stitch a little bit, and we just finish it off. And that is it. We will cut our strings, but we now have a functional cloth mask. All right, and now we have a functional mask with a bridge piece. So thank you for watching, and I hope it helped.